geologic process that we've been looking at with the alluvial fans and the movement of material from the mountains down onto the valley floor also contributes to our water supply in a way. The Coachella Valley is a desert, but we have a remarkably good underground aquifer. I think we're probably fortunate as desert areas go. If you look at Las Vegas or Phoenix or other areas where water is much more limited. I don't know for you guys, you said you're getting water from Lake Tahoe.
Well, it's
and wells.
And wells.
Yeah.
We have a good aquifer
yeah,
as well
same.
for the same
yeah.
sort of
yeah.
process.
So over time, with the mountains on this side of the valley and on the north side, we're surrounded by the Little San Bernardino Mountains in Joshua Tree National Park. All of this material, the granite, which we were just talking about, breaks down into finer particles. Decomposed granite is this kind of at this stage, and ultimately it becomes sand. Let's see, the sand particles would be the smaller stuff. Now, if you were actually doing a soil test, you would break out different pieces of this sample, and there's also some silts and finer particles, silts and clays in here, but not as much. So the sand, which is made up of quartz, is very resistant to erosion and doesn't break down easily, and so you have fairly large particles. Sand is a description of a larger particle size for soil. That sand is the basis of most of the valley floor in the Palm Springs area. And actually, maybe as early as 40 years ago in the 60s and 70s, the whole area, what did you guys?
We got here about 80, 79, 80.
Yeah, okay, a little bit after K and a little bit before. So when I moved here in La Quinta, most of Highway 111 and Rancho La Quinta, which is right on Washington Street, was all a big giant sand dune, and that was in 1986. And most of the valley was covered by giant sand dunes. We only have probably today about 5% of the sand dunes left that we used to have. But those sand dunes were created by sands washing out of the mountains, being washed down through these little wash channels, and then picked up by the wind, which we have a lot of, as you see with those wind turbines at the west end of the valley, and then blown hither and yon. For humans, we don't really like blowing sand because it pits our windshields and gets in our swimming pools and does all sorts of annoying things. Yeah, it doesn't feel good to blow. But it's turns into a very important habitat for a lot of wildlife. We have a number of critters that are somewhat unique to the Coachella Valley area because of the sand dunes.